Tools I needed for this job: 11/16 box wrench. I needed the open end. 3/8 socket. I needed to use these to get my filter off fully opened because I didn't have a strap wrench small enough. This is a 3-inch filter wrench and it just wasn't small enough to get to these little guys. Need 5 quarts, 20W50, a funnel, this guy, and because I was using this and didn't have a strap wrench or a filter wrench or a socket, I had to use a jack for one of the filters to get enough leverage to pull this vice grip pipe wrench up. Let's get to it. Okay, this is a HydroGear, I believe a 3100, and it is in a Husqvarna MZ54 zero turn, and I'm doing an oil change on it right now, and I wanted to show you where the filter goes right here. I'm on the back of the lawnmower, so there's where the filter is. This is my drain pan, and then there's a high level fill port on these things. It's a real pain to get to. Let me show you where it is. It is up here on the inside, and it's back a ways, and I'm going to show you what the nut the plug looks like. It's an 11/16 that looks like this, and it is in this transmission this way, most of the way up forward, so it's kind of hard to get to it with a socket, but I did. You can jack these things up to maybe locate them. I'm gonna give you kind of a wild ride because I'm going to bring you in and try to show it to you on the left side one, hopefully without dropping you my phone in the oil pan. That would not be fun. So let me go ahead and see if I can get you in there and show. I'm going to show you the filter guard. This guy here, that's 2 3/8 on this particular one. Some are 3. So there's a 3/8 there, and that bolts in over where that filter. See that thread right there? That's where the filter thread's on. It just kind of shields that, and it is full of grass when you're done with it. This is a 100-hour service change, and it needs to be done every 400 after, according to the manual. So let's try to get over. This is not gonna be a pleasant ride. Sorry in advance, because it is difficult to see and to get to. All right, let me get that pan out of the way. There we go. All right, let's go. You can see my tire. Let me get over here. All right, can we see it? There it is, okay? You can see it right there, hopefully center of the screen. That's the 11/16 right there. All right, so I'm gonna bring you back to me. I don't know if you can hear me even. I'm sorry about the shaking, guys. It's just hard to get in there. Okay, put that there. So that plug needs to come out. First of all, this needs to come out, in my opinion, first before you take the filter off. This filter is a very small filter. My filter strap wrench didn't even fit it. I ended up having to use this to do it. I took the adjuster all the way out, and I used it as big as it could, and it really mangled it. See, so don't do this as a test. You know, do it when you're really meaning it. So the tools to do this is 3/8 socket to get these two bolts loose, get the filter cover off. It's plastics, don't be silly with it. And an 11/16, so 3/8, 11/16 for that, and some way to get these little bitty filters off. Filter number is 52114. It's just a regular oil change. Okay, so I did the one side already, this right side. I gotta do the left side still. And just take the bolts off, I take the bolts off the filter guard, and then I take the drain plug, or sorry, the top level. Because when you refill these, you basically go through your expansion. If you have one, you go through this. I've cracked this open as well. All right, and then if you don't know what HydroGear you got, there might be a sticker on your vehicle right there. Another thing that you need to know about is at the purge, and I'll do it later. When you're all done with the oil and you fill it, you're filling it, you gotta, somehow you're gonna have to actually watch your fill plug that you're not gonna put it back in. You're gonna put a filter in and start filling it through the remote reservoir, and you fill until the oil starts coming out that top. Then you would stop filling and you'd put the plug in, and then you'd continue filling up the other side. This way that they both get a good chance at not having tons of air in them. You're supposed to do both at the same time, the right one and the left one. So that's how they tell you to do it. Fine, whatever. So from there's this lever on mine right here, and it goes backward and forward, and all the way back right here, and then lock is bypass. Okay, so that means that there's a bypass valve, hydraulic valve in this unit, and when you've got this lever pulled back, this is the right side, so either way, when it's rotated all the way back, that is in bypass. So what's going to happen is you're going to, let's say you push forward with your zero turn, this side here is going to have no power. The pump is going to be told basically to come out of D-stroke, so into like full delivery, but it's going to deliver over a bypass valve right to tank. So it isn't going to move anywhere. You need to do that according to the purge procedure. You need to put this thing into this bypass mode. It does go a little further than the bracket allows, but it's good enough. I think you're supposed to put this all the way back, both sides, and then the purge, the air purge procedure is start the mower up, get the pump running in these HydroGear, and then basically exercise your handles very slowly, full forward and full reverse. And your vehicle may move a little bit because you might get just enough pressure to move the motors from your pump. But most of the fluid is going to go over the bypass valve to tank. You're supposed to do that like 5 or 6 times very slowly, and then you'd put these back, so you'd lift it up and let it go back forward like so, and then see if the vehicle is quiet and smooth operation as far as the transaxles go. That is the procedure. I'm going to do the other side, and then I'm going to try to show you how I would do a purge in this case. I don't know. I'm a one-man show here with no tripod and no interest in trying to do the best possible video. Just trying to get this done and see if anybody could be helped by this at all. So I'm going to put a filter on there. They recommend a little sheen of oil on the O-ring like anybody else would. And then they say 3/4 to 1 full turn after the gasket seats. I hope I can do that with my hand. In the event I can't, I don't know what I'm going to do because I'm not using my big old vice grips. All right, so we're in the back of the mower and we're looking up at the drain plug, or the fill plug, I guess. It's right here. I cannot, on the left side of this tractor, I cannot get to it with my socket, so I'm going to use this 11/16 box wrench. I'm going to try the open end first. This is going to be impossible with the camera, but that's where it is. I don't know if that'll give you a good idea, but you know, this would be the center of the transmission here, so it's definitely toward the front and the top, and there's a hole up there, but I don't know if that hole is easy to see that plug from, but that is the plug right there. I have to get that out of there, and then I will remove that filter there. So there you go. There's the plug. It's that silver one right there. Right there. Hopefully that helps. All right, for this side's filter, I had to jack up the tractor a little bit. because I gotta twist this way with my vice grips. They're like a pipe wrench. Their teeth are a certain way. I have to go like this to get it off of there, and I just don't have enough ground clearance with the length of these handles. Just the way it is. So I jacken it up a little bit, and then I'll get that off of there. And as with most oil changes, it's best to do on level ground. So once I got the filter out of there, and the filter is draining now in the pan, should be able to see that, I did go ahead and let the jack down and just gonna let it drain a while. I have not put that plug back into that side, and it's laying right there. I have not put the high level plugs back in. I'm not going to. It's tempting to start putting this thing back together, but don't do it, because you have to put the filters in. And you can see my new filters are just a little taller. Maybe you can see that. They're just a little taller, but that should be okay. That's the new one over there too. So anyway, we'll let this drain out. We'll wipe it down, wipe down where the oil goes, and then we'll put the filters on, and we'll start filling this thing back up, and we'll try to purge it. Okay, I've got my filter ready. I got my filters installed, my funnel ready, my oil. It is adequately windy for an oil change, and you can see the two plugs are not in. I don't know why I have to do this, but that's what the instructions say, so I'm gonna do it. I'm going to go ahead and just start dumping this in. Now this is 5 quarts, and these things take 2.5 liters each, so it should be pretty good. I do have 2 quarts of Valvoline over there. We'll see, to top this off. So I'm going to start the process of filling these. I did put the filters and the filter guards back on. It was not fun. It was not hard. One note, these little plugs here were not on tight at all. They were on more than finger tight, but they broke loose really easy. So if you do this, don't put your foot on that wrench when you're tightening them back down. They have an O-ring, and they don't have any oil really under much pressure. So no need for that. Here we go. All right, I put some in there. You can see the level. It is going down. It is not going down very quickly. That is a note for now. It is draining into them though. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. So I want to make 2 notes about this job that I did. This tractor is done with it. The purge is super necessary. It will be loud and whiny without it. It may run okay, but it's gonna be loud and whiny and probably get hot, the transmissions. You do not need to be doing an oil change on this thing to do that purge with those handles, as I showed you. Get under there and you pull those handles back. The second note is you're going to need to be out in the middle of the open, because for whatever reason, like with this setup, this MZ, you are going to be moving around. The bypass is not complete on this thing. The wheels are going to move. So I did it kind of on a low throttle, and I was pushing, and so maybe the left one was more responsive than the right one. The right one was a lot more bypassed than the left side. But I just rocked it back and forth probably 10 times, and then I got off of it. And of course you have your parking brake off, and you've got those 2 hangers pulled back. It was making an awful lot of racket. It was very upset because it was being bypassed. It was all going over the dump valve, as we'd call it. Pushed them back in, and this thing is quiet like when I bought it. So I had let the oil in the reservoir get too low, and air must have gotten into the system, and I probably ran it like that for an entire year. It ran fine because it's new, but bleeding this has initially made this very much quieter and very nice to sit on. So it improved. It didn't make it silent, but the whining is much quieter. So it's a very important thing to do, and you don't have to even be doing transmission oil change. But I will say that after the first 100 hours, that oil looks like it needs to be changed. So anyway, thanks for watching.